Today's video is a follow-up on a video I made yesterday, and it's called "Why is my planar tracking not working?" The question was posed by Mr. Cooper, and when he used planar tracking and then applied the mosaic in order to blur a part of the image, the whole system went black. It didn't crash. Filmora didn't stop working, but the preview window just turned black. If you want to see that, you can visit my channel and you can get, I'll post a link to the video. But basically, that was the question yesterday. And I gave him some suggestions on how he could fix that issue. And he followed it up with a question today. His follow-up question is, how can he get his videos to start rendering automatically on the timeline? And that's what we're going to cover today. Luckily, he did provide us a screenshot of his preferences so that we can cover them. And basically, all he needs to do is to go back to his preferences, which is File, Preferences, Performance. Click on the Performance tab, and it says Preview Render. He needs to activate the background render. And in other words, he needs to move this over so it looks like this, has this blue line or blue outline here. That means it's active. He basically has it inactive, so currently his video clips are not being rendered when he drags them down to the timeline. Now, it does have a delayed start, and it's called background render. And the reason that they do a background render is that if they were rendering while you're working on the timeline, you would experience quite a bit of lagging, and this was an irritation to a lot of users early on. So now they've relegated to a background render. It will only render if you're not actually working on the timeline after a set period of time of it being idle. And the default setting is 5 seconds. You can change that. For if you are in need of using the background render in order to work on something without having it crash on you, I highly recommend that you also activate the proxy files. Proxy files are just low resolution copies of your original that are clear enough for you to edit. And then when you're ready to export your project, then anything you have applied to the proxy files will then automatically be applied to your original files. So anyway, to answer Mr. Cooper's question, he just needs to activate the background render. Okay, so just to reiterate it, I brought up my own preferences versus Mr. Cooper's preferences, and we can see that I have the preview render set to automatically start rendering after 5 seconds. He has it deactivated, so therefore his will never render. He did have another question. We've answered the basic question, but his other question was, and let me just move that out of the way, and let's minimize this again. He went through a tutorial to figure out how to manually render his videos on the timeline. So I'll just briefly cover that. I think we've answered his basic question, how to automatically have it render. And I also want to touch on one other thing in the preferences, and that's in the media cache. I would not recommend that you activate the automatically clear the proxy files when you close the project, because if you're working on it multiple days, then the proxy files have to be recreated, and that just becomes a pain in the butt. Rather go ahead and keep this deactivated, come into the preferences media cache, and hit the clear button when you're ready to get rid of your proxy files. Okay, just to demonstrate how the manually rendering works and how the automatic rendering works, let's go ahead and import some file. Here we have a 12 gigabyte file. It's huge. We'll go ahead and import that. And we're not going to do anything to it here as far as automatic rendering. It may be doing that or may not. But we're going to go ahead and look at our preferences real quickly. And we're going to see that the performance, the background rendering is turned on, and it will start after 5 seconds once it's placed on the timeline. So let's just go ahead and put it down here, and we will do the fit to the timeline, and we can see that there are it is starting to render here rather slowly. I should go back into the preferences and start it over from scratch. And in the media cache, I mentioned that you can clear out any proxy files. So I'm going to clear out the proxy file for this. Apply. Okay, apparently it doesn't clear anything that's actively in progress. It's moving very slowly because this is a huge file, and so therefore it's going to take a long time to render. Smaller files, of course, will render much more quickly. Let's just delete this, and let's put in this other file here, and we will leave it here, and go like this. And if we're going to, we can see that it's rendering automatically here, and it's quickly renders it. Let's go ahead and delete that, and let's go into preferences and performances, and we're going to take off the background render. Now it's not automatically going to render, so when we bring a file down, we'll bring this file down, and we can see it's no longer rendering. So how did Mr. Cooper manually render something because he had it turned off? He clicked this button right here, Preview Render, and you just go like that, and you can see that it's rendering the frames, and you can see that the line here is becoming green above. So we probably can't do the zoom to fit right here, but that's okay. Basically, that's how you manually render it, but you should have it set in the preferences, performance, background render, have it automatically render. And if you don't have a capable GPU, definitely use your proxy files. That's a real plus for making your project work faster.